that little like nomenclature, little ticket next to your name, that's something that people flex a lot. They're not afraid to talk about it when they've got it. So this is a big moment here as we have Groats versus, what is it, NovaSix. Some new teams, but some names that have definitely been seen before. Chobolux was planning on running that Wolverine. Looks like it gets banned out immediately there by the Groats, and Hella off the table too.
Yeah, Hella off the table. Protect now for NovaSix. We'll see what they do, but yeah, you said it, man. If you could you flex the top 16, flex top 8, flex the gold border for getting top 500 the previous season. I've got that. Shib, where's yours?
I'm close. All right, I'm climbing.
You're close. You're close.
Not close enough. I'll forever remember that one. That one hurts me deep down. As we get into our lock-in, Groot.
No, I made an enemy.
Groot gonna be locked in. It looks like the teams are not afraid to run that file on the opposition. Haven't had eyes on these teams yet, so I'm excited to see how they play. Star-Lord going to get locked as well, and we don't see a ban here from the Adam Warlock, so maybe we'll finally see some Guardians. We haven't had eyes on that yet today.
Yep, no eyes yet today on that composition. Maybe a bit of a recap as well on some of these players. We've seen Alex before in previous MRCs. Same thing with Soko, if I remember right, and Badges. Meanwhile, for the side of NovaSix, definitely part Spanish team with Chobolux and Hysteria. We've seen those two before, so it's awesome to see them competing again in another MRC. And for Groats as well, going to ban out the Adam Warlock, Luna Snow ban on the other side. Both teams allowing the Loki to go through, and Invisible Woman. We'll see if either of those characters are prioritized. Also, another thing, for Groats, in case you're some people are unaware, Groats is a take on the old team named Goats in Hero Shooters. Definitely a classic. If you ask around in the community, I'm sure you'll find out more about Goats. It's a bit of a Marvel Rivals take on it, now called Groats. So it's fun to see that NovaSix is actually the team to protect Groot against the team called Groats. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, that is great. One of the unique things I've seen here is it looks like Groats, they wanted to keep Alex on that Star-Lord, but elected to ban the Warlock. So not comfortable on the Warlock pick, but they do like Star-Lord, obviously in a really strong place right now. Incredible ultimate, ton of damage, and does have that spin to win with the combination of Magneto, a slept on, but not so slept on the pro scene combination that is almost the entirety of where that bubble goes. Keep your eyes on your Star-Lord, let him spin, put it over his head, and let him get him, that ult faster than anyone in the game if you do it properly. So we'll probably be seeing some of that here on both sides as we have Chobolux and Alex on the Star-Lord and the combination of Hysteria and Guy Who Drives on the Magneto as we start off this first fight. Loki gonna be kept in for one of the first times in a long time. Loki, an incredible strategist. No need to talk about him too much. The sheer burst potential of damage and healing with that ulti combination. Crystals, just so much to his kit. And great positioning of these clones and staying safe near a health pack. I like that spot here from Strome.
Yeah, we're definitely going to see a lot of invisible boundaries with these Lokis copying both Invisible Women's on both sides. Meanwhile, Groats taking a lot of forward space, forcing away NovaSix right now, who are all just kind of frontlining, trying to get a lot of damage into the Groot and into that front line of Guy Who Drives Me, forcing out cooldowns, like you mentioned, trying to get those hooks in the neutral fight.
Yeah, and the battle begins. Getting that early spacing around the corner is definitely not what we normally see on a defensive side. Just choosing to have their first fight be on stairs here. Maybe it was just a space-taking issue. Guy Who Drives on the high ground here using... I'm not even sure how he got up there, if I'm being real with you, without the rocket jump. Maybe it was a rocket jump on the initial that I missed that transfer over. Yeah, it must have been. Taking that height. So good positioning. I like to see that. That's big brain stuff. Guy Who Drives, driving the point forward here. And I don't imagine we aren't going to see this dunk here from the Meteor M. Potentially not. I guess there was going to see the cancellation combination here off the strangling prison, and here we go. Magneto's Meteor M. Oh my goodness, Spooksy gonna come in and get an immediate two-piece, shutting down that momentum quickly. Can I see three? Gonna reset off the clones, and I think we're gonna see more than three here, as it's just gonna keep happening. 3, 4, 5. Bang! Spooksy popping off here.
Another one, maybe.
Oh my gosh.
You're going to be hearing that one in their dreams tonight. Another one. He's going to wait. Wait, give him time. Give him time. Give him time. 1 second.
Not be done yet.
There he goes. Oh, I just broke some platform. I can't believe it. That was insane by Smooksy. Followed up. I don't think I've heard a more satisfying again in a while. I mean, that was beautiful to come back after the strangling prison. Groats, you thought they had a good spot to come through with that prison, followed up with that Meteor M, like you said. Now into this fight, they pop it early with the Star-Lord into the sky, met by that Meteor S, though. Meteor M to counter it.
Yeah, Stereo doing a good job there. I mean, obviously a good counter. When you don't have a strategist all up, obviously nothing on the table right now. Watching Smooksy right there was like watching a predator hunt down. Smooksy get another pick there. Ooh, after the fact for Badges trying to make a play early on. It's tough to initiate a fight like that when cooldowns are still up. Thought they were going to be able to make a play after, you know, the Meteor M did get pulled out, but no, did not work. Choboluk's going to find one. Down goes Soko. Alex goes down from Smooksy, and it looks like a really strong performance here by the duelist line of NovaSix. So Hysteria gonna get another pick on guy who drives there too.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, memory coming back to me, I can remember NovaSix did pretty well in the last MRC as well. So this is definitely a practice team. Hysteria top tier in terms of Magneto gameplay, and the rest of the team obviously has been reformed, right? They've consistently played well around Smooksy, the back line keeping the front line healthy, and 40 seconds left to go. Groats has to make some hero plays against a lot of ultimates.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a strangling prison combination. Yep, there it is, but it didn't get a ton of value. I see Q's pressed everywhere. Just got to wait till lights die. Oh, my goodness. Soko going to get 4 on the Groot. Oh, my goodness. Guy who drives not allowing Loki to get away, and that should be .1 here for Groats. What an insane strangling prison combination. Getting the job done. Soko popping off here on Groot.
Yeah, nice job by Soko. Huge walls. And, you know, obviously this prison was massive. Unfortunately, Storme could not get that follow-up copy into the strategist to get that into the back line. Both Star-Lords committing the ults in the sky. Bubbles committed. Choboluk's in the hot air. Does take advantage of Alex. Did not get a bubble in his own situation. And now NovaSix put themselves in a good spot yet again. Groats back to the spawn. 2 minutes and 15 seconds to go. First point, they almost hit it. Chib, and now in the second phase, they're looking to get a close hold.
Yeah, I mean, they're tight for sure. They're right up on this opening. Do have ult advantage. NovaSix probably a little bit shook about that take there. There's just an incredible set of ultimates there from the side of Groats. So, you know, feeling confident, I'm sure, but having that point loss like that has to, you know, hit you in the feels a little bit. Now you just want to get it back, right? You want to make a play, so we'll see it right here. Choboluk goes in with a bubble, finds a ton of the back line. That is a ton of ult charge. Almost 40% from one spin is insane. File gonna put up walls and isolate. Groot is gonna go down. File taking out Soko, getting a little bit of revenge here from the side of NovaSix, who still has ult advantage. Now it's evened out as the Tube Sock will have that Guardian Shield.
Oh my god, what a hook there from Smooksy. Forces bubble shields. Wow. Or sorry, walls there from the Groot 2. Guy who drives. He's driving back to the spawn door today. Minute 20 seconds left to go. NovaSix in the neutral. Just off that hook from Smooksy, like we said. We talked about how Winter Soldier can just afford you those opportunities. Smooksy has been consistently providing for NovaSix.
Yeah, I think one of the things we see from powerful teams, from teams that got it figured out, is just the lack of utilization of ultimates if not necessary. And look, still holding on to the 4 they had, knowing that there will be an ulti fight here shortly on the offensive. Groats, but oof, getting a couple picks actually back and forth here as Badges gets File. Down goes another. Numbers are back on the side of Groats. Great ultimate. Will they find more value? Soko tried to get a few, but I still held on for dear life. The spin to win is going to find another. And yeah, Davian goes down. Hysteria, Choboluk's all fall to the side of Groats, who now have about 1 more fight to push this through point 2.
Yeah, 1 more fight, 30 seconds left. Also, only 1 ultimate. Momentum does not have his ult. That's just what it looks like. Or sorry, 2 with Alex building up towards the Galactic Legend. NovaSix have been able to actually duel in this like Star-Lord ultimate battle almost every single time. Choboluk's the one to come on top. We'll see if Groats is the one to equalize it this time. Doesn't look like it. Magneto both popping their ultimates, but it's Choboluk still even through the Meteor M to find the elimination.
Yeah, the timing of that was insane. It's like you're a pro at this or something, as we do have that exact battle you mentioned. And down go a few. Smooksy gonna get a 2-piece there. Turning back Davian, pushing the guy who drives off the map, and File taking out Soko. And it is an OT now. The touch could be coming here from Alex. Will he make it? No. And that is gonna hold before point 2.
NovaSix look good, man. I think that, you know, comparatively to teams earlier, this actually is a pretty competitive roster. We'll see on the offense if things change, but right now they play very well around their Meteor M's, just constantly getting hitting members of the backline with Hysteria, and then also you know, nice strategist ultimates. Even though they lost both duelists earlier, they keep things alive. They do a good job just healing up people, not overcommitting ultimates, and knowing when a team fight is lost. Shib, I know that we've talked about that, right? Like making sure you don't overcommit to a lost team fight or just use ultimates late when it's completely unnecessary. NovaSix, great ultimate usage overall throughout the series.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I like that. I think that is the defining factor of a team that really understands the highest level of play, not overcommitting. Ultimates are so important in hero shooters, and getting value with those ultimates is even more important. Understanding cooldowns and not overcommitting when the fight's already won. So seeing them hold on, I think, was the reason that they took that defense. And I think it was something that, you know, a lot of us in that position would have overcommitted on, especially those early fights in the doorway near their spawn. They just seem to get, you know, good picks and make things happen with those pulls from Smooksy, those early attacks by Chobalux on the spin. You mentioned the constant battle with Alex and Chobalux coming up on top. Maybe a combination of the shields, the Guardian shields from Davian, maybe those bubbles by Hysteria, but no matter what, it's always seeming to go to the side of NovaSix. So will that appear for them on offense, or will he be held here on point one? We'll find out shortly.
Yeah, we will find out shortly. Great points by you, Shib, and, you know, moving into this first fight, Groats not going for that early hold like we see some teams do, just sort of sending out the dogs on the front line onto everybody of Groats who just kind of play it back. And NovaSix, I'm sure, will be happy to take this space and build up their strategist ultimates for this upcoming fight. But Smooksy, you know, you have to worry about this Winter Soldier just getting those hooks, making sure that your team is avoiding those is crucial right now for Groats.
Yeah, both of the teams, in comparison to the teams we've seen in the past on this map, are really holding a little bit farther back. I mean, having Groot on both sides obviously is difficult, especially when you're running something like Magneto that doesn't have a lot of escape besides self-shielding in those moments where Strange can jump over the wall. So playing back, they're just trying to ensure they don't get walled off from their team. Davian gonna find Guy who drives early, though. Turned right around as Badge is gonna take out Smooksy. Momentum on Hysteria, and Alex on Chobalux. As just like that, Groats gonna take that space back and push them back to that spawn door, getting this corner back in their favor.
And they just also got Momentum's copy out, so you don't feel too, or sorry, Stormay's copy out, so you don't feel too bad about that if you're Groats' side. Get the free fight win, 2 minutes and 45 seconds. Time still off the clock here for NovaSix. They're gonna walk up into this upcoming fight with those Strangling Prisons and Chobalux ult yet again.
Yeah, and here we go again. The fight will begin. TubeSock pops that early for Groats, and they're just going to wait it out. I like that positioning. Just let that die out. Don't be aggressive. Didn't get a ton of value in terms of pulling things out for the side of Nova. What an off. Wow, off in the distance, making a play, trying to find something. They do take out one, but it does get turned around as Soko falls. Try to find a cheeky ulti, and they are going to pay for it as Smooksy runs through with that combination of the prison, and it looks like they will be taking point one pretty early here.
Organized right now. I mean, right now, Groats sent Soko into the back line where everybody else kind of came back and peeled off Chobalux, who just kind of went incredibly aggressive. I was surprised that he was even there, but Soko tried to throw a string in prison with zero follow-up, and you're never going to get value out of that. Now coming into this upcoming fight, 4 minutes and 14 seconds is a huge time bank to work with. Basically, one fight for Groats here. They need to just get a good hold early.
Yeah, it's tough to find those off-angle strangling prisons when Loki's on the table, because all he has to do is click that shift, and, you know, the team's going to be fine for the most part. And, yeah, didn't see a lot of value there, so it did, you know, kind of bite them in the butt there as they press again. Groats going to start popping Qs. We are going to see in the sky not able to get anything there from the Bucky. Just no play. Hysteria going to take out Badges early, and now it's looking back at NovaSix as they're just owning this space. It's just going to be a standard fight here. Momentum going to pop that invis. Soko going to turn around on Chobalux, so and it looks like they are going to press them back and have ult advantage as we do have this strangling prison ready for the side of Groats. Ooh, changing comp to Squirrel Girl's out here now.
I mean, Squirrel Girl's not bad. Pretty good at spamming out the Groot walls and overall high damage output characters, so you can make it work. We've seen teams run it. Usually they lose, but we do see teams run it, and it's not completely terrible. And here comes that Strangling Prison. Pretty early committed, but no damage follow-up. Here comes the Arm of the Dangerous every time from Smokesy.
And the resets are going out on those clones. The downside of running Loki is having the Bucky be somebody like this who's just going to reset, but no, not able to get a ton. Badges going to get a pick there on Strome. Soko on Smooksy. Starting to look more in their favor. They don't have much room to play with here. That ultimate, I don't know how I feel about that there. Not sure how necessary that was for the attack to pop that to stay on the point.
I mean, yeah, they're doing it. They've worked themselves into it.
Wow. Okay.
Badges over to Dr. Strange too. I mean, it's desperation now for Groats, who, like you said, it looked like they were going to win, but just at this current moment, have a hard time competing against these strategist ultimates now. They have nobody else here on the objective, no more ultimates to contest. And right now, NovaSix are just going to get it done.
Wow. Did not expect that after losing 2, turning that around with the strategist and just getting a push-off map and some other strong damage just to turn the numbers in an instant. I mean, what a shift around. Can I say I expected that? Absolutely not. I thought it was going to be a overutilized ult, but wow. Okay, yeah. They take home that W. Really well done there.
Yeah, NovaSix is a good team. I think the difficulty is we usually see these strategist ultimates pop like really early, even if they're like in a losing team fight. They just commit them at like what feels to be like a correct tempo almost, you know? And sure. The tempo was just a little bit off there, just slightly late, and they were able to get the job done regardless. So right now, NovaSix push it to another map. They win map number 1 and do it in a pretty strong fashion. You know, a team like Groats, they've got solid players on the roster, but NovaSix showed that, you know, through the power of Smooksy playing absolutely insane on Winter Soldier, they can win it all.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the groups, File versus Soko. Soko did have the upper hand there in terms of eliminations and damage, but then you look back in the combination, you see Smooksy with 19 final hits, the next closest being 9 on both sides. Just capitalizing on those strangling prisons, maybe taking away some of the stat line from his own team. So, you know, it's very difficult. It's more of a team conversation rather than just looking at one hero's ability to get final hits, because in the end of the day, especially with Bucky, you know how it works. If there's a setup, Bucky's going to keep the train rolling and just accumulate final hits on cooldown. So really well done there. NovaSix just looked very strong, even in a fight that I thought they lost. They turned it around. And speaking of turnaround fights, I thought they lost. Let's dive into these highlights. Welcome back, everyone. As the first game was very, you know, it was in contention the entire time. Saw some big ultimates from Bucky, saw some missed plays maybe by some Groats, but either way, it was very back and forth. And yeah, I mean, it was just a ton of fun to watch. So congrats to these new teams.
Oh yeah, moving forward, NovaSix look pretty good. We'll see if they can close out against Groats. And, you know, if any team could do it, it's probably them. I think this team, you know, is a very consistent top 16 team. Obviously, if you were unlucky and you go against some good teams early on, you know, Shikigami, you might not be in a good spot. Maybe you're gonna have to play against next MRC, unfortunately. For NovaSix though, keeping the tournament alive would be ideal. For Groats, you know, it's now or never. If they don't win this map, it's all over. NovaSix do have that cushion to work with. I feel like we've seen a lot of 2-0s today. Even though we've seen a lot of close matchups, it seems to be that, you know, this 2-0 situation is kind of like the consistent sort of format that we've seen so far.
Yeah, I'm with you. It early on, I feel like we saw some, you know, game 3s or things getting more intense, even with a tie at one point. But yeah, since those first few games, it has been a little bit more of a steamrolling on either side. But no matter what, you're right. Sometimes the games, besides maybe last game was a little more one-sided, the games have still been very close, right? So right now, I saw some strong defenses, some strong offensive play. You know, NovaSix did have some serious time on the clock there, but even so, if that first point just didn't have it go that way with that one fight, I think it could have been a much closer game. So we will see what it looks like here shortly. The ban's almost identical. Besides the Star-Lord ban out, going to keep Luna, and we'll see who the ban comes across here. Namor's
Namor. Okay, yeah, it makes sense because of the Luna Snow Protect. Meanwhile, Star-Lord ban on Groats' side, don't want to have to deal with Chobolux on the Star-Lord, so Groats prioritizing also the Wolverine, which makes a little bit of sense, I think, because Chobolux, I believe, likes to play some Wolverine. But on the other side, NovaSix banning out that Namor because of, like you said, with the Luna Snow, getting rid of that team up. And then obviously don't want Alex to play that Hela. So NovaSix got rid of the Hela early on. Meanwhile, yeah, you got to protect that Bucky considering what Smooksy was doing earlier, Shib. I think we've talked about it. You've mentioned how teams, you know, it's interesting. A lot of teams don't ban out the Bucky a lot of times considering how strong that hero is. I think you've brought up that point.
No, I'm with you. I'm saying, like, it's surprising to me. I don't know. I mean, Bucky's in such a strong state right now. You know, I think the argument is he's just not as strong as something like Hela in terms of just like what Hela can provide for the team. But in my counter argument is, are you sure about that? Because I've seen Bucky's just seemingly roll all these fights, especially if you get this Rocket team up, which we are going to be seeing here. So Badges maybe has a slight advantage. We also, we're going to see the Rocket on Astrome as well, at least right now. Maybe it's just the armor packs, but we'll see when the fight starts. Smooksy, if they do enable these Buckies to get these ults even faster and provide more damage, it's just a matter of which one is going to play a little stronger. Bucky is so easy to get value with. And now we got Alex on the Punisher. Looks like that is going to be a consistent stay here. So that is going to be a change too to help battle off that group advantage from File.
Yeah, I like that we're seeing a little bit more Storm throughout the tournament. We're consistently seeing it whenever Hela gets banned for some of these teams that like to play the Flyers, not maybe necessarily putting out the Human Torch alongside it just yet like we saw earlier. But Smooksy, oh no, the forward pressure, far too much with that team up. And like you said, that was so much pressure on the outside. Choblux on the flank goes down, and they've been picked apart by Groats right now, and that's not good, obviously, for NovaSix, who are just pressed out to the choke point.
Guy who drives 2 early picks, just consistent aim. Well done there. Like that pressure. Obviously, the res comes back initially. Wow, they're walking him right now with this front, like just the front line taking so much space. And the duelist just following up on everything as we've got Alex with the pick. Badges. Guy who drives is just kind of going all over the place. The team just walked point 1 with 5:30 for point 2. I don't think I've ever seen that amount of time here. I don't think the point was held at all.
Oh, world record, second phase, baby. Choblux over to the Psylocke on the other side, by the way. Didn't really want to take that duel on that Storm. Meanwhile, towards the coast, a little bit aggressive by Groats towards the coastal side. They do use ultimates and keep this position alive as they commit. Oh my gosh, what a huge Kraken impact from Badges to close it out. And NovaSix back to the spawn. Smooksy is well committed his own. We'll take that trade 1-for-1. Also had to commit to see you later, though, so that's going to matter coming into this upcoming fight. NovaSix, 4 minutes and 52 seconds. They have to actually figure out what the heck's going on as Groats have ultimates at the choke point now.
Yeah, we talk about riding a wave as a metaphor, but this is a tidal wave right now because they are just walking this thing with no contention, and they still have a ton of ultimates up here with 4 ready. Here comes the Punisher, Judge, Jury, Executioner. Will we see value? The walls just disappearing. Great angle here by Smooksy to hold this off-angle point, but oh man, everything's getting popped up in the sky. Guy who drives gonna take out Davian. Down goes the Luna. Badges gonna follow up in Hysteria, still ending in Groats' favor so far. Badges finds another on File. Oh my goodness, the res goes up. Just keep the walls up and let this thing run. Bucky gonna fall, and again, Badges walking this as the group will not be lasting very long. My goodness, 3 meters on, 4 minutes on the clock. What are we going to see again? 5:30 for the final point.
Yeah, they look pretty good right now. I think this composition alongside the Rocket Raccoon you talked about earlier, we saw Punisher and Winter Soldier without a Rocket Raccoon. You can see that with the Rocket Raccoon, the damage output on tanks and on Vanguards is quite good. Meanwhile, for Choblux, he has to set up on these one-shots, make sure he can get on these strategists. In the meantime, he's kind of poking out the front line, waits for his opportunity, and then dives towards those strategists. Meanwhile, Smooksy's still looking for hooks, not able to find it. In fact, they have a strangling prison, and no, the crystals aren't there to save him in time.
Yeah, we've seen some very consistent early picks by Guy Who Drives, and I can't let that slide. Gorgeous play here. Just finding somebody before every single fight. Guy Who Drives again on Choblux. Just following up with these left, right, and left again. Sweeping the backline. Great aim. Badges going to follow, and a File falls. Hysteria falls, as they are again not allowing any time to be taken off this point. Let me see a world record here on this full push in this level of play. Going into top 16, trying to equate the score to 1-1, and wow, restacking again as a team, but NovaSix has got to get their comfortability back. It's just lost right now.
Oh, there we go. That's a good way to start it out, though. At the very least, shut down the Punisher with his own ultimate, and then uppercut Badges to get the counterpart. I mean, nice job by Smooksy. Copy came out early from Storm, by the way, like just waiting to come back through, desperately looking towards Davian to come back into that fight. So here's maybe where it starts, Shiv, for NovaSix. 4 minutes. Groats got it all the way towards the end. Could not finish out. If you have a Shredder's ultimate, they could potentially close out here and now, but it's a long hold for NovaSix here on defense.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't it be a thing of wonder to hold for 5 minutes on the final point and get the W? It would be a crazy take. We do see the switch over from Chobolux to the Hawkeye up in the sky. Oh my goodness, that is a three-piece, and the team's gonna follow up Hysteria with a mean Meteor M. The meatball just colliding with everyone, and the team's gonna get swept. Gorgeous. Again, back and forth here by this side of NovaSix, who is now running the Hawkeye.
Yeah, I like that from Chobolux. Opening pick into File, combining with Hysteria. Those are ultimates removed. Groats can feel decent about that, right? 3 minutes left to go in this fight. Obviously, ultimates and Marvel Rivals build way quick. So, you know, you have to pay attention to that as you walk in, build up the 50% usually on their side. But Groats, now's their opportunity with a huge friendly prison, unless there's an eat from Hysteria with the Iron Curtain.
Yeah, and here we go again with a retake fight. Groats do have ult advantage. Smooksy, though, has had a ton of value. Ooh, with a Kraken impact. Badges goes up on everyone. Gonna reach. Oh my goodness! That was a Super Saiyan punch through everyone. Badges finds File, does get the reset again. Gonna collide onto everyone while the ult's being popped. Fate of both worlds, but it does turn around. Chobolux. Nice shot there with the arrow to reset that. And we are gonna get Judge Jury Executioner. Shields go up.
It's met by Shredder's ultimate. So Chobolux can't be saved. Guy who drives again. And also, oh no, Hysteria zoned out from the team. So NovaSix split apart right now. They could regroup, but those Shredder's ultimates not there in time. Nice freeze to slow down Guy who drives, but maybe he's just inevitable.
Yeah, and here comes another dunk potential. Guy who drives, bang, down goes Davian. Great positioning, great spin. Not much left here. Groats trying to shut this down. Number still on card. Hysteria, though, gonna take out Tombstone. Guy who drives finds another on Strome. It's stuck right now. It's stuck right now, but they are gonna get this, I believe, shoved through here with a minute on the clock, roughly.
He's alive.
And here comes the dunk back. Kraken impact. Smooksy takes out one, but does fall immediately after, and that should be it, as Groats finally gets this thing pushed through. But it was a 4-minute hold.
Yeah, 4-minute hold indeed into the last phase. They just struggled too much in first and second phase, man. Like, that's the problem when you don't get any good fights on first and in the second phase of the map. Now for NovaSix, they have a huge hill to climb. You can, you know, cap out the whole map, but for Groats, I mean, that was perfect, like you said, with Guy who drives, finding those opening picks consistently on NovaSix, who were still finding the composition. Chobolux was on Psylocke, and you know how I feel about Psylocke at this point. I feel like we've reiterated a little bit too much, but, you know, Chobolux swapping over to the Hawkeye, a little bit more value. It's always annoying to play against the Hawkeye, no matter what level of competition you're at.
Absolutely. Yeah, Hawkeye's only vulnerability right now is just Venom for the most part. Obviously, you know, things like Psylocke can find value too into Hawkeye. Hawkeye a little more prone to the dive rather than something like Hela, who does have those escape windows, and an ultimate that provides an additional health bar, right? So it's the only downside to Hawkeye, even though it maybe has that weakness in a comp like this, just raw damage. Getting a pick on a strategist with simply putting a well-placed arrow into the dome is, you know, is maybe all you need. So I do like that change as well. But we are going to see a shift off, and they are going to be running the Storm off the rip.
Yeah, I would like to see Chobolux stick on it this time, potentially. I know that maybe he was a little bit too afraid of, like, you know, holding those very vertical, like, places of cover. Maybe just, like, afraid he's going to get run down by Alex or Badges. So sticking with it this time, I mean, it's not a bad call either, considering we've seen a lot of Storm in other regions. Storm is actually not that bad of a character right now, especially in these more brawly compositions. You can match, especially without Hela in the game. So maybe NovaSix going to stick it with it this time and wait till Chobolux finds value.
Yeah, and we are going to start this press early, as NovaSix has got to get on their game to make this happen. Push through on point with a minute 30 is a scary number to look at as you're attempting to shove right back. Are going to see a change up in comp here, as we do see Chobolux obviously on the Storm. A comfortable pick. Badge is going to take out Davian early. Losing a strategist of that caliber, somebody on something like Luna, is very difficult to come back from, as Alex is going to sweep out Smooksy and Hysteria.
Yeah, the pacing is going to be hard here, right? You have to like walk into the Punisher alongside Winter Soldier and the Rocket Raccoon. That team up, you don't have that on your side. So in the neutral, they should just like straight up lose that, right? So you need to play these angles a bit better to cover. I like how you mentioned maybe switch to the Venom. That could also enable your team a little bit more. Obviously, Punisher still actually does decent versus Venom with the shotgun. But NovaSix, they just got to use cover a bit better on their attack.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Punisher Shoddy unlimited ammo is terrifying to dive into with anyone, but that's a good pop here by Storm, forcing out an ultimate, gonna retake, but ooh, dangerous position. Great healing there to keep Chobolux in the fight as they're gonna match the fate of both worlds on both sides. Numbers are obviously even, but Ultimate's heavily on Groats' favor. The dunk on everyone, cracking impact on Smooksy. Trying to get another reset, trying to push forward. Wow, the reset does come through, and that's gonna be 3. Can we see 4 on the push forward from Badges? Luna running for her life, but no, still gets KO'd as Davian falls, and Badges gonna sweep the team.
Yeah, maybe if they had Davian's ultimate, or rather Stormay's ultimate earlier with the damage boost, they could have found those eliminations. Everybody felt at like 1 HP, but no KO was found. And now Groats, they have a good spot to be in right now on their defense. Davian can also go with the damage boost to get that one shot with File. With the Feast of the Abyss, we'll see if they opt to do it. NovaSix, File creating a lot of space on that back line.
Yeah, and it's just another one of those stalled fights, but NovaSix does have a slight advantage here. Here comes the return from Smooksy, trying to get a reset up in the sky. Soko gonna take out Smooksy as an insane pick to turn that back. Smooksy still gets 1, but still down in numbers as the res comes up heavily in the favor of Groats.
Heavily in favor of Groats indeed, until Chobolux does trade back Badges, forcing even more ultimates out of Groats' side with the See You Later. Alongside Alex with his ultimate, gets down Chobolux on the front line of that cart without a lot of that pressure, a lot of the damage. You lose all that space, and now NovaSix, minute left to go. This is looking scary for them on their attack.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, this is looking like a totally different set of teams here, where it's just NovaSix is not having that pressure they had early on. Groats really showcasing their power, and you like to see it with this composition here. Definitely changing things up, leaving Punisher in and getting value with Punisher as Alex is really, you know, protecting that back line with the shoddy. And here comes the dive immediately from Venom, frozen, and here comes the follow-up. This is where it gets a little more dangerous when you see that unlimited ammo shotgun come into play. 63 on the charge, is not able to get it all, but is going to be matched with the fate of both worlds, so the health is still going to be very much apparent. Badges trying to find another reset. Oh my goodness, Badges gets 2 there. David and Smooksy goes down. Chobolux following up on the Soko ultimate. A great strangling prison there by Soko. Again on the defense, Groats just really popping off here with 15 on the clock. It's going to be a stagger fest for the point. Will they be able to pull away with this, or will this be a crazy turnaround from Nova?
Yeah, Nova needs to pull off something right now. They need that synergy between Chobolux and File, like we see a lot of other top teams get done. You have to get that one shot, or at least to help Chobolux off on Spider-Man to find the one shot, but the dive hasn't been consistent. We'll see if they can pull it off now. Here comes the dive from the Venom.
And we now see Chobolux on the Spider-Man. Smooksy gonna take out Tuban and Alex. Soko gets 1 back, but Smooksy gets 4, as this is now gonna be back on the attack. Nova clutching up in the moment they needed to. Well done by Nova, and Smooksy with a 4-piece.
Yeah, well, I want to see NovaSix do that again, right? They need to consistently be able to get those dives off, allow space for Smooksy, or even find eliminations of your own. Chobolux is close to his own ultimate. They also have strategist ultimates to sustain if there is an ultimate by Alex committed or Badges, so you can live through this damage, even though they have that See You Later. We'll see how they play this upcoming fight. 2 minutes and 14 seconds left. Groats on their defense do have a ton of ultimates. We'll see if they screwed up or not. NovaSix waiting out this ultimate, committed early by Momentum.
Yeah, still 2 minutes on the clock for them here. Diving back after you see Momentum pop that all early, like you're saying. Just kite it away. Let that cooldown go down. That's value. You know, you're back up on ults again. At least 1 was wasted. 2 down on the opposition for Groats. And now we will start seeing some more. The dance floor goes out. Oh, the combination. They tried to make a combination happen with Venom, and I believe it was canceled. And we couldn't see eyes on, but that must have been what happened as File gets frozen when he tries to pop the combo there. Wow, we'll dive through that again in a minute. But Strome and the opposition of NovaSix tries to get a few picks. Guy who drives back on File, and Alex popping the Judge Jury Executioner, and it looks like Groats is still going to hold on to this defense, at least for the moment.
Yeah, still holding on, but they're slowly falling apart.
Ooh, yeah.
Tube Sock gonna go down in that fight. NovaSix Strome did go aggressive with the Luna Snow, getting that damage upgrade as well for Tobalux as he committed the Spider-Man ultimate, so they were able to get at least some eliminations. It was a little bit sloppy because they lost their backline due to a nice ultimate from Soko, but in this upcoming fight, we've got a lot of ults from Groats. We'll see how they play.
Yeah, so what I believed happened there was Strome was trying to initiate with the Luna combination. They switched to damage when you see File coming in with Venom, but Venom about to go under with the Feast of the Abyss, gets frozen, cancels the ultimate, and thus canceling virtually 2, making it not nearly as valuable with a Loki copy. Up in the sky we go with Guy Who Drives, trying to find some value, does take out Davian. That's a nice early pick again. Groats on this defense still looking very good.
Yep, 30 seconds left to go as well. They bring back Stroime on the back. Here comes an ultimate from Smokesy, but does he have the support? Doesn't look like it. Gonna get shut down. 20 seconds to go.
Oh, wow.
Without him in the fight, well, they actually do take down Alex. Also, a lot of help here from Hysteria in the back line. They're making it sloppy. They're making it messy as Guy Who Drives trades back too.
Yeah, I mean, you saw the land there on Bucky trying to get a bunch of value in terms of, you know, popping off and resetting, but even just landing it on a team and allowing your team to hit that threshold of the percentage of HP that gets them insta-KO'd. The team followed up and got 2 more. I thought it was actually going to turn in this favor there of Nova, but now Smoochy's going to be on the Punisher. They're switching it up a little bit, running 3 Vanguards and trying to get one last attempt at this, as we will see Q's being popped. Hysteria, ooh, early, gonna find Tube Stock. That's a nice pick with Badges coming through. Gonna reset. Soko takes out Davian. That could be enough here as the team is forced off point. OT will start ticking, and Badges gets 3 more and is just gonna make this enemy team the opposite. Nova just fall off point like it's nothing, and Groats are gonna tie this up 1-1.
Tying it up 1-1. What a map for them on Idrisil Path. They were able to make that Punisher comp look very good. So shout out to Groats tying it up, and we'll see if they continue to run it on future maps or potential bans to come through, because honestly, on the other side, NovaSix looked pretty confused at points. They just couldn't find any stabilization until the very end of their defense on their attack. Kind of a similar story, right? They just were not able to find the composition that they wanted to play, or at least play at a high level. So we'll see if moving forward they can change up the bans, honestly.
28 final hits on Badges is insane there with the Bucky. I mean, the stat line across the board there for Groats looked really good. It looked like a totally different set of teams there, where we saw Nova popping off at first, looking really clean on the first map, but map 2 just the script was switched completely. It looked like a totally different fight. So I'm curious to see what we're going to see on map 3, what map we're going to go into. We haven't seen a ton of domination today. It's been a lot of convergence. So we'll see if that changes up. It looks like it's going to not be a domination. But before we dive into this next series, let's check out these highlights from the last match. And we're back. NovaSix versus Groats, 1-1 tied up. At this point, I truly believe it is anyone's game. How do you feel, my man?
I feel good. I feel good, especially since during the break, there was a quick instance of me looking like the Hunchback of Notre Dame. So, you know, now going into this next match, I'm curious to see what happens, because, you know, for NovaSix, like you said, just to lose on that last one's pretty tough. Curious what map they choose as well going forward. But you know, we're sickos, dude. We love this kind of stuff, Shib. Me and you. Map number 3, this is what we live for, dude. So both of these teams fighting for that top 16 spot into to go again into tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, you're telling me if after 8 hours of casting, if we could get juiced over a game 3, I'm feeling it already. The adrenaline's back. I don't know what it is, but this game just gets me so hyped, man. I'm having so much fun watching these games, and this is a good one, right? You love to see teams that are back and forth in terms of competition, and I think we've got a good match in our hands.
Oh yeah, for sure. Both these teams running very unique different styles too, Shib. I mean, we have Punisher on one side, full dive sometimes for the side of NovaSix, and they obviously like to play some of that. Was it Namor earlier? I think, and some of that other stuff they like to play. So for NovaSix, the first ban is going to be that Hela, and it's matched immediately by Wolverine.
Yeah, Wolverine not allowed through yet, not even a chance, where it's an immediate ban every single time for the side of Groats. Obviously, some sort of targeting there on NovaSix and Wolverine in general, very difficult to run with. Both teams seemingly really like the group comp, so never been a pressure. No Groot's willing to admit the other one maybe has the upper hand. And honestly, it's been so back and forth that I'm kind of on their side, where it's really just dependent on the map so far. So we'll see what that looks like. But Rocket getting banned out is probably a very good idea after the success they had with Rocket on the last map.
Oh yeah, that's a good choice for sure. And you know, if you force a team to play Punisher alongside Winter Soldier without it, then you know that'll probably be a pretty good matchup for you. You know, meanwhile, Groats taking out the Star-Lord again, pretty similar bans for them. They don't want to play against the side of NovaSix with Chobolux on the Star-Lord, and which is honestly pretty smart, but that does allow the Namor Luna Snow to go through. Interesting that both teams going to prioritize that team up with the Luna Snow and the Namor. I like to see it, and means Winter Soldier also going to get through as well. We're definitely going to see this duo come through.
It's like an ego thing, right? I'll lock the Luna, you lock the Namor, let's run it together. But when I'm saying that, we'll see who gets the upper hand on this map. Is going to be, I believe, another Convergence map, or are we going to see a domination? I got to see what it looks like as we open up here. No, it is going to be Convergence as we head towards Wakanda. This is a very strong defensive position on point 1. We haven't seen a ton of shutdown on it today, but this could be the first map we see it, as Groats are on defense here, running the same composition as the opposition for NovaSix. Gonna both have that Loki, who plays really well on this map, ton of high ground to take, a ton of positions for clones. Obviously, Namor float is very strong at these high ground, these off angles, and we'll see the Groot with the Magneto, potentially the top 2 vanguards in the entire game at this point.
Yeah, some teams will, or at least in MRI, I think we're like avoiding playing the Groot at points, and you know they looked pretty good, but you know coming into this week, it feels like teams are even locking in further towards that Groot meta, as you know, obviously teams learn about these off meta things like the Venom and stuff and how to deal with them. You know, a lot of the specialist teams even have switched over it, like we said with Nightmare playing the Thing earlier. So right now, NovaSix walking in early, breaking a lot of the walls, trying to go through this underpass. Nice hook from a Smooksy. Brings back a guy who drives into their face.
Yeah, it's a nice pick there, Smooksy. These off-angle pulls have been insane. And some of these maps, again, just driving through point. This looks heavily in NovaSix's favor right now. But Alex is going to find Chobolux, though, and try to even these numbers. It may not be done yet. I may have jumped the gun a little bit here, as we are seeing some positioning owned, but it's now being contested right at the very end. 2 bodies on. No, it looks like point 1 is going to be on the side of NovaSix. What a push.
Yeah, what a push indeed. Take down the Vanguard early, and with that, you're able to just kind of come through. A guy who drives also just swapped over to Doctor Strange to try to portal back into the objective. Didn't get to do it. And now 5 minutes and 20 seconds. This is looking a lot like how Groats looked on their attack previous map, Shib. So pretty funny to see now into this next map on the Wakanda map.
Right? It really does look like just 2 different teams in some of these pushes. It's like whoever starts off hot stays hot for the game is what I'm seeing so far. So we'll see what this looks like as we press into this next segment here. Groats does have ult advantage, but NovaSix becoming pretty close in this fight. They should have a ton, as they're seemingly on the same page across the board in terms of value. And here we go. Hysteria going to try to find some early damage here for the side of NovaSix. Going to do some serious damage to Groot. The Whale goes out on the high ground by Alex, but does not collide with anyone. one. As we're up in the sky, Loki gonna copy up, and here comes the dance floor. Follow up here by Smooksy, who does get a reset. Finding two. Ooh, Luna's in a dangerous position. Gonna start the dance? No. It is gonna be the Loki copy that starts that to shut down the reset. Oh my goodness. As Groats are gonna take out the entirety of the opposition with one play, still holding on to 3 ultimates.
Well, yeah, I was wondering how NovaSix were even winning that. I mean, mainly off of Smooksy on the low ground with that Kraken impact, because I mean, Alex just sitting on the height the whole time. Like, nobody dealt with the god spot from Alex, just sitting above, just poking out the back line, able to find so much value just over the height. Built up already at 60% towards another whale. I mean, he just used it in the previous fight. NovaSix also committed so much to a lost team fight. Groats are actually sitting in a good spot, even though the time bank does not favor them.
Yeah, oh, wow, Badges again. He's gonna change it up and say, I'll get the pick early and try to... We're seeing 1 committed ultimate. This is looking really good for Groats on the defense. Make that 4. Should we see 5? Not able to get there and is going to reset. But wow, what a pick early. Just doing that by themselves. Badges with an early pick like that and following up on 2 more. No one else has to commit a thing. TubeSock still holding on. Guy who drives still holding on. And now Alex back with the whale. So well done. And it's looking like Groats are doing a good job on this defense, turning that tide back in their favor.
Yeah, and it's going to keep going like that unless Alex gets this launch from the position or NovaSix flanks around the map, right? There's like 2 options. You either try to find a backline pickoff onto the Luna Snow, or you try to dislodge this Loki and Namor, who are pretty much impossible to kill. So we'll see as it pans out. Soko's sitting with his Strangling Prison ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, you think about potentially taking the Strange Portal up there and shutting that down. Soko with a great Strangling Prison, and they are going to follow it up with 2 picks again early on. TubeSock did use the Fate of Both Worlds there, though, so a couple more ults committed. Now NovaSix should have the advantage in the next fight for once in a few fights here. So we did burn a lot of time, but it's still 2 minutes on the clock. Just that nature of how fast they pushed that point 1.
Yeah, Alex and Momentum kind of acting like server admin almost, just above the map. Kind of no clipping, honestly, just sitting up here, just putting out so much healing, so much damage. Portal, though, you called it, Shib. Maybe they're going to do that. Go for that portal on the height, like you said.
Yeah, whenever I'm playing Strange and I see some pressure up there, it's a necessity, but you got to be careful because this portal position can clip into the ground and it can sell your entire portal where your team can't actually go through. So smart play there to angle it upwards a little bit. Pro take, I would say, is make sure you're doing that. But Chobalux going to get 2 off that. All great play there on Alex and TubeSock following up with the combination of Groot not needing that damage boost when you can land it in the center there and get a few. This is going to give them some space, but I think we will still see a retouch here by Groats.
Yeah, definitely a retouch here. Copy by Storm as well, waiting to use that ultimate from the Luna Snow to the very last second. Also, Chobalux able to find Guy Who Drives, who kind of just walked forward, tried to get those crystals to save him. We're not there in time. Alex could do something on this height, but the squids, once they're removed, all of that damage removed from Namor now.
Yeah, another lockdown is 5. Yeah, it just looks like NovaSix has got their momentum back. That's good. Still 2:40 on the clock for them. Groats starting to look better as a squad, though. Got some confidence back in that push. Could be a hold here on 3. A very difficult point to chase, but we will have Hysteria. Actually, the cooldown for the teleport should still be down. Might get it at the very end to hold them off because it is roughly a 3-minute. It is a 3-minute cooldown. So now that they got 2:30, maybe we'd likely see that teleport again at the very end to hold off the spawn door. Could happen here to force them into the final point, but we'll see. Together, Badges on Groats is going to have that Kraken impact. Smooksy going to have the same for NovaSix. Davian will have the dance floor ready. Fate of Both Worlds. And we will also have Strangling Prisons on both sides now up. So pretty even across the board. It's all about who can find value as here we go for the next fight. Guy Who Drives trying to find Smooksy off point, and the damage boost is up. Crystals are going to follow. Badges going to get 1. Here comes the reset again for Badges. Getting 2 and 3 and 4. Just a ton of value with that damage boost. It's terrifying to see a Kraken impact with a Luna on purple there right behind you.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That's a lot of damage coming through onto NovaSix. Now into this next fight, Groats did commit those 2 ults. So NovaSix now having 5 ultimates to counter Groats, who barely have 2, basically. And, you know, maybe they could build them up. But the difficulty here is, Shib, is if you lose this fight, you potentially do have those spawn traps from the portal. Obviously, Hysteria did use his earlier, but maybe the cooldowns could sync up after this fight win if NovaSix were to win it.
Yeah, and here we go again with the Eye of Agamotto coming out here for guy who drives. Does get a few in the back line. Great pick. Yeah, you love to see that. Did get that charge up there on the Dark Magic, roughly around 75. That's where you want to be floating, because when you land, if you get one left click off with the melee, you should be at 100%, allowing you to follow up and clean up anyone, which he does do to start off that fight. Well done by Groats and a guy who drives.
Yeah, my mistake to ignore the fact that guy who drives does indeed drive into your backline with Eye of Agamotto. So that was huge from him. NovaSix still have ultimates in the bank, though, but maybe they were walked in a little bit too carefree. Copy now comes through from Storme as they walk in with a massive combination with their Eye of Agamotto, Copy, and Kraken Impact. I mean, it's going to be hard to lose this fight with that many ults.
Yeah, here we go again. Smooksy with the pick on badges. And the fight begins. Down goes guy who drives. We'll see Tombstock, and here comes the teleport. And the last 18 seconds, we knew it was coming. Will they find value? Will it work out for him? This is the panic mode. It's difficult to get this done in time. Are they going to do the rotation there? And that should be enough. We'll see how many they got locked out.
I think just one, maybe, if even. Yeah, there's like one person stuck in. No, I think he got out. So he's actually totally fine. Copy out. Meanwhile, from the backside, just to keep this forward. Groats do have ult advantage. Tossing the Strangling Prison now. Here's the whale on the backside with the damage boost. And they're all gone. See you later.
That was insane. You're right about that damage boost combination. That was devastating. Not allowing them to get point 3 there. Well done by Groats. We did call that, you know, they found their momentum back on the defense and they could potentially hold, and they did so right before point 3. So we'll see if there is a push in their future to get to that point.
I think just unfortunately too many ults committed there from NovaSix in the previous team fight win. And this is what we talk about, Shib, with the macro, right? It's just kind of, you know, too many ults committed or something. I guess they had to do it though, right? Because you had to commit the Strangling Prison, you have to commit the Kraken Impact and that damage boost. I suppose that's why we're seeing a lot of teams maybe at like the highest level start to maybe even just try to get fight wins without combining, right? Because then you don't have to commit that many ultimates, because 3 ults to a single team fight is a lot, unless you just like manage to force out other ults.
Yeah, it's more so, I'd say the strategy comes along with like not forcing the combination, but allowing it to happen. Say Luna needs to use that ult defensively, right? Then you have a conversation with your Namor saying, hey, fight's back in our favor. I'm switching in 3. You ready to throw whale? So that's where things change, right? A lot of teams where they may be thinking, let's commit both right now and get picks, and maybe not finding value. Instead, it's more so, I made this happen, I countered one, let's get more value, and let's follow up on it, right? So the conversation changes, and the understanding of the team changes. So that's where I see this level of play, the differentiation between these guys.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I'm all hail the Master Shib. He knows what's in the pros' minds right now, because I sure don't. My God. Groats.
All right.
No, they're attacked now. They get to walk out with a early TP from a guy who drives, and Alex is the one triple Vanguard. Interesting.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of this today. We saw once, just a couple times on the touch with the teleport, so we've been seeing that a lot, right? I think it's just strictly around the teleport play off the rip, but Alex is saying, nah, I think I'm going to take my own space here on the height, get everyone looking one way, and find a value on the other. Unfortunately, you know, maybe should have started that walk a little earlier instead of the conversation after the fact, as the fight has begun, but no one has fallen yet. Here comes the early squids, and taking out Loki up here is a great idea, as down goes Strome. Alex with a great play early. Didn't expect it to work like that, but yeah, they're gonna walk this thing through. Groats 2 down early on the NovaSix is down 2, excuse me, as Groats is gonna keep that pressure forward. Soko's gonna start these wall offs here shortly, and I do believe Groats is gonna take this point with like virtually full time on the clock.
No, yeah, Alex read that so well and perfectly timed that flank, so that's what you like to see, the sort of roundabout play, portal to come back in. Hey guys, you've missed the objective. It's far too late, 5 minutes and 25 seconds now. We're heading into the street phase of the map, and thank you for your cooldown.
Yeah, the staggering is tough. I mean, obviously, fighting this early on the point, it doesn't give you a ton of space, but now they may not be able to take that high ground spot that we saw being held from the side of Groats initially. So just, that's the small little things you got to think about when you win in these fights. It's that little space that matters so much, because now you can see Groats is positioned there, almost entire team up there. At least you got a few bodies up there with those squids. So now defending that high ground, it's a totally different fight than what we saw from the last push.
Yeah, Soko actually more worried about PvE than PvP right now, just looking at the destruction, trying to set up his angles here, make sure he has a perfect ultimate, right? Because his ultimate charge is already there, doesn't need to build up the strategist ultimate on the side. More so worried about positionally how he wants to do this, getting blocked by his own wall, but here comes...
Gorgeous start. I thought they might get some more commitment off it, but just so many walls up as we do see crystals as well. I love the PvE comment as we have File now at 98 looking for one. Up in the high side, Strome going to copy over to the Luna of the dance floor. Let it begin. Alex going to find one on Davian. Guy who drives gets one as well. Groats still finding value through these dances. And here comes an Eye of Agamotto from the guy who drives. Will it be able to push them through to point two? And man, they're really dominating here early on.
Yeah, they are. I mean, just consistent on the backside. Ultimate also committed by File. Was it just canceled or whatever? They didn't. You got no value out of it. Meanwhile, Agamotto on the high ground just to secure the very end of this point. You might as well. Pretty good ending for your team as Groats in the snowball, looking good. And well, you do have the crystals. You are touching this objective for now. But eventually, everybody staggered off. Chobolux at Narnia, just like, hey guys, come look at me or something. I don't know. But I like how you called it earlier, Shib. That was exactly what we'd like to see, right? Alex, I mean, didn't combine his ultimate with Soko necessarily, right? Soko threw out the Strangling Prison early. They didn't really find anything. They didn't force it. And then, like you said, a Tube Sock popped his Fate of the Dance, Fate of the Worlds, and Alex just happened to have a well ready to go and came back through. They were able to find 2 eliminations off of that.
Exactly. It's just the timing that matters, right? And committing ults, and then there's finding success with ults. And I think committing sometimes leads your team to overutilization, where when you just find success with a window and you have that conversation, that open comms with your team, you just get a ton more value, and it's a lot more surprising. So here we go again, as we do see that Strangling Prison Throne. Soko going to take out Smooksy, and again, Groats are just like working their way through every fight. As Badges hits the sky, tries to get a reset, just get one up again, bang! Down onto the dancing Fate of Both Worlds. Not going to be able to get that takedown as the resets should stop here, but still the space taken from these ultimates, and Nova is going to have to make something happen here, as we will have Tube Sock and Alex's combination, and maybe this is a time where committing those ults may be successful, because all that matters is one fight here. This is where the game ends for them if they find success, and here it goes as we see the Fate start, and that's okay. Starting early should have given them enough time. No! Can I see a switch to damage there that maybe cost them a few KOs?
I don't know. I mean, something definitely happened on that attack, and you know, NovaSix able to find the elimination on the backside. It was a big, I think it was just the Eye of Agamotto from Hysteria right there to shut it out. So nice work from the defense. NovaSix hold on. 3 minutes and 30 seconds left to go.
Yeah, see, that's where I'm unsure, because Tube Sock was in alt there, and you know, CC Immune didn't get the eye. I believe I saw the switch to damage, and I could be incorrect, thinking that maybe Alex didn't get hit by the Eye of Agamotto and wanted to try to commit on shutting it down, and it just didn't happen, and found out the hard way that he was locked down from the stun there from Eye of Agamotto. But I could be incorrect. I just thought I saw it. So who knows? In the moment, we'd have to go back and look maybe at the highlights later. But here we go again, as we are seeing another attack. The teleport blade comes in. NovaSix is going to have ult advantage. Groats trying to make a combo here with Soko, and guy who drives big Vanguard ultimates, game-winning ultimates if they are successful. And there's an Alex early pick onto Hysteria. Ooh, Smokey and File off the rip, immediately gonna lose 3. Oh my goodness, Chobolux saying it's not done yet, takes out 3 with the damage boosted whale, and the fight will still continue.
Yeah, fight will still continue. You have some support here with that grand finale. Davian afterwards able to take down Soko. They're holding on by the skin of their teeth right now, man. Like, they're just like about to lose. Somehow somehow Chobolux hits a huge whale. So NovaSix, 2 minutes left to go. No ultimates either. Hysteria has to build his, and Smooksy, same thing. Groats, all of the ultimates in the bank. I mean, they would have to screw it up to lose right now.
Yeah, I would argue that Groats made the right decision there. Just lose that fight. Just, you see something happen like that, they commit 2 ultimates, and you're still holding on. Nobody initiated besides guy who drives, which I believe was maybe canceled out of that Eye of Agamotto. I can't remember the moment if it was up, but it does still have 56%, but everyone else is ready, as we are going to get this copy early here from Momentum, whose goal is just to wait it out until you need to use it. Here comes the show, as we do see Fate of Both Worlds pop. Wow, Soko goes down before able to use that ult. Great damage there by Strome, showing how strong Loki can be. Crystals out to try to keep people up, and these ults are not finding value from Groats, as Strome is going to lead a few early picks, and there is going to be another fight, and now ults are back in Nova's favor.
My God. I don't know. I was about to say before this, like 3 minutes has passed, that I'm so impressed with Groats Ultimates. And now, I don't know if I could say that. Hysteria, huge Eye of Akamoto. That is the reason why NovaSix are still in it. A minute left to go. Where do they want to fight? They've got a whale. They've got Strangling Prison. They could close it out pretty soon here if Groats commit ultimates too early or just don't react to a Strangling Prison.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm a little more unsure. I mean, when it comes to these alt fights, it's, prior to this specific point of the map, it was always going in Groats' favor. Alex gonna find Smooksy, but here comes the combo. Oh, great crystal placement to keep the team up. That was so crucial. And now alts are back in their favor. They're committing everything. They are gonna go for it right now. There's very few seconds on the clock, 28 seconds. Now it's all about picks. Badges gonna take out Davian as one goes down on NovaSix. Badges gonna have this reset. Maybe waiting out this fate. And here we go as the return. Smooksy does fall. Tube Sock, that is so valuable. Shutting down Smooksy and that all his Badges is gonna find another on Chobalux. Now back heavily in the side of Groats, up by 2 in this fight as the dance floor is still being popped. And there's a pick on a group. Nice grab. And oh my goodness, how is he still up? The KO did not come through. Fate of both worlds is still holding on. Can Nova push through here?
I don't know. I mean, maybe. He's out of the ultimate. They lose Davian. They lose Snoop. They lose File. Overtime going down. Finally, Groats locks the hell in. Wait, come on, no way, Hysteria. There's people here. No, he falls. Oh my God, Groats. They do it in overtime. That was the diciest ending I have ever seen.
Yeah, that was anybody's game. I didn't even know who was like feeling it in that moment. It was so back and forth. The Eye of Agamotto, I thought there was a small chance, but unfortunately, you looked at Strange's HP, he was out like 50 or, something like that. You can't get too much value out of it at that point. It's more so a panic ult, but it did still get one pick. That one is going to go to Groats, who will be moving on. And congrats to NovaSix getting this far. Unfortunately, not able to make it to the top 16. But we do see Chobalux with that 12 final hits there. Obviously, very strong Badges. 17 Alex, 16 Duelists. Really showing up here for the side of Groats. Really well done.
Oh yeah, really well done indeed. And what a way to end off today. I feel like after a good 8 hours of Marvel Rivals, you might as well end it with some chaos, like we saw at the very end. So Groats, like you said, congratulations to them. Moving on in tomorrow, and then also getting that title of top 16 in MRC.
Yeah, you love it, right? That's what you're chasing right there. It's just the name. Obviously, the money is awesome, but it's just notoriety at this point. Everybody, the game is so early, and it's in its infancy. Teams are still learning who they want to run. There's still, there's going to be subs that may be making switches to the front line of the roster. There may be a million different things, teams unsigned that are getting signed. There's so much to happen in this game. There's so many metas to uncover, so many changes that we'll see, new heroes coming in. Things are just going to constantly shift, and it's going to help propel certain teams that maybe didn't shine in the moment early on to a new meta that maybe suits them, which we have seen some of that so far, and I just want to see more of it.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's so many evolutions to this current game, and overall there's been so many different changes that have happened to the top teams. So we'll have to see if there's a potential upset, if we see a completely new team win it all. I mean, there's a good chance that even happens, even though coming into this week 100 Thieves were heavy favorites. It's all up in the air still.
Yeah, I'm with you. We've seen some new shining teams, and I'm assuming now that we're in top 16, we're going to see even more. And before we proceed forward with this conversation, we want to get a peek at these skins as we're wrapping things up here together. Been an absolute pleasure working with you, my man. It's been so much fun. But now looking at these skins, we did have a conversation before. Moon Knight, an awesome series. If you haven't seen it yet, this is the outfit that Moon Knight was wearing in that Disney Plus series. Just really cool to see Oscar Isaac popping off there on that performance. Just a great casting. But then we look over at this Panther skin, potentially one of the most liked skins from what I'm gathering. Just such a cool look as you see the thrice cursed king, the Vampire Panther. Just a terrifying dive into your backline if you're not prepped for it.
Oh yeah, unless I mean, these days got to be feel happy about playing against Black Panther, but still love that skin. Meanwhile, we've seen a lot of Spider-Man today actually, so make sure to pick up your Spider-Punk 2029 skin alongside the Iron Man Steam Power skins. So these are now available, both sets. Check them out, guys, because these are just absolutely beautiful skins to pair alongside Vengeance, with the Psylocke skins. So, I definitely have my wallet and opening it up for these couple skins. Shib, obviously it's been an incredible day, man. And, we have to obviously go over everything, but, to end it off with Groats towards the very end over NovaSix, getting that win, considering how NovaSix looked map number 1. I mean, what a way to close out on the day.
Yeah, we've mentioned, you and I always seeing these crazy games. It's just coming into fruition here. I know we're going to be progressing through this tournament, and the games are only going to get better, but it's getting to a point where it's like, how can they get better at some of these games? It's map 3, final point, just inches, a game of inches, some ties we've seen today. Ton of really, really impressive play across the board. And yeah, been an absolute pleasure working with you as always, my man.
Oh, I hate you, Shib. I hate you so much. No, I'm just kidding. It's been absolutely amazing. So much fun stuff's happened throughout the tournament MRC. Obviously, this is only season 1 too. So season 0 obviously happened. Now heading to season 1, just getting started in the new year in 2025. Was fun. We get to cast March earlier today as well in March, and he had an absolute pop-off performance. So, a lot of top players that we're learning about and are kind of making a name for themselves. Because like you said earlier, that's what it's all about, right? These new players coming out on the main stage, coming out on stream and playing for the first time, because, it's an open bracket tournament and anybody can compete here. It's not like we're locked into a league system. There's anybody can win it all if theoretically.
Yeah, I'm with you. You mentioned showing up in the moment, making a name for yourself, the nerves really taking place, right? There's obviously some talent that's been on the stage before and maybe feel more comfortable, but a lot of these players, first time in a tournament like this, not even knowing maybe their team would be casted if they'd make it this far, right? So exciting to see some new talent, some new names, some new teams pop up here and get on the big stage. And we'll see if there's more coming up here tomorrow. We will be back. You're going to see some other talent, some awesome guys here as Mazel and Cozy will be on the stage up here in front with you guys for the NA team. Obviously, a ton of different tournaments being run right now across the board, across the world, and I'm still in hopes that we will see a worlds combination, find out which nation will be on top. So we will see. It's just my dream, right? I'm just wishing, hopeful wishing here. And with that, I think we should be coming to a close. I'm not sure if we're checking brackets, but either way, it's just, I want more of this, and I'm looking forward to seeing this again next weekend where we're back on the stage.
Oh, yeah. I mean, next weekend is going to be exciting. I guess we can go over some of the teams that potentially played it out today. Obviously, we'll take a look at it if that is a thing. But, we do get to see FlyQuest moving forward. Again, a lot of these top teams, that's going to matter going into this top 16. A lot of these teams that have been favorites consistently playing in the tournament, Shib, man. So, I'm curious to see how many upsets have happened. I'm sure Cozy and Mazel will actually run us through tomorrow. But like you said, we'll be back next week, me and you, Shib. But tomorrow, we will have Cozy and Mazel come into the stream, open you up in North America. Obviously, in a few more hours, you can stay tuned if you're an insane person. Want to stay up for the Asian region, make sure to check that out here on Twitch or on YouTube on Marvel Rivals for both platforms. But in the meantime, that'll be it for me, Dogman and Shib. I'll have to catch you guys tomorrow.